Okay, so the topic I will be talking on is Trinidadian steel pans. Okay, the topic I will be discussing is Trinidadian steel pans. Alright, the Trinidadian steel pans are also known as steel drums, and they originated from the Republic of Trinidad or Tobago, and the steel pans themselves fall into the idiophone family. A little background into what the steel pans, or where they came from. Um, Originally, French planters and slaves immigrated and came to Trinidad during the French Revolution, and as they came over and settled there, they created communities, and they brought new customs and ideas to the land. And one of these new customs was Carnival, which was a celebration. And this celebration, slaves were not allowed to participate in. So, in revolt or rebellion, the slaves created their own form, I guess you could say, of Carnival called Canboulay. And Canboulay was their own sort of interpretation of Carnival, since they were forbidden from Carnival. Um, and as they practiced this new sort of celebration, it was banned. Their the French planters and slave owners banned much of their activity. African percussion and music and stick fighting were banned in connection to Camboulay riots. And so they were pressed for a while. Years later, in Leventville, activities resurfaced, and orchestras of frying pans, dustbin lids, and oil drums became a new birth of this form of steel pan. The people were very creative, and they used objects that you wouldn't normally think to use in their music, such as the oil drum. They utilized objects that people would consider junk in order to create music from them. The steel pan is now a major part of Trinidadian music, and also they use it in competitions within their culture. Now, in constructing a steel pans were originally made from old steel drums, or old oil drums, but today the steel pans are specifically made to create the desired sounds. So to first start off, they take sheet metal and they create it into a bowl shape, and depending on the desired resonance, they they decide on a thickness, either 0.8 millimeters to 1.5 millimeters thick, depending on how deep or high they want their sound. And then they create note patterns. Note patterns are shaped and molded into the steel itself. After the note patterns have been molded, they then take some sort of mechanism and they soften and tune the sound of the note patterns. And the different sizes of the notes connect and correlate to the size of pitch. So if you look at the steel drum at the picture on the right, the larger the oval, the lower the tone is. So that's how they were able to decide or to design these different steel pans and get the certain sounds that they needed. So Trinidadian steel pans, I have a video right here, but to play the steel pans or the steel drums, you need two straight sticks, and with the sticks attach some rubber on the top, and it produces the desired sound. And from my research, it says the size of the rubber attached can also affect the different sound and tonation produced. Alright, so the video that I'm about to show is a group called the Neil and Massey Trinidad All-Star Steel Orchestra. And in this video, they're gonna play their rendition of How Great Thou Art using the steel pans. And this band is an integral part of the steel band movement in Trinidad and Tobago. The band originated in the 1930s, originally as the Helyard Boys Band, but slowly over time they changed their name as it went on. And this band's roots are strongly embedded in the indigenous culture, so they're a big part of making known the steel pan music. So we're going to enjoy that right now. That little clip of the Neil and Massey Trinidad All-Star Steel Orchestra Band, I thought perfectly portrayed um, the idea of the steel pans and what they're all about. If you watched while they were performing, they didn't have any sheet music in front of them, so it was a very raw, natural sounding medley of music and tones, and I really enjoyed the steel pan and getting to sort of research on it because it's a very happy instrument. It produces very happy tones and it puts people in a very light-hearted mood, and I think it's a wonderful um, instrument, and I'm so glad that we have the shaka steel drum on campus because that's a great way to experience these cultures from all over the world. So that's my presentation. Mahalo.